Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Avinash, and in this video, we are going to discuss how exactly this CloudFront distribution works. So this is one of the long pending video I am planning to make. So finally got some time to write. So yeah, basically this CloudFront distribution actually designed to deliver the CDN mechanism. So basically the CDN stands for Content Delivery Network. So, see, whenever the geographical distance between the user and server increases, so obviously latency also increase, right? So to reduce that latency, whatever the content we want to deliver, we can place that content to nearby end customer geographical location. So I'm taking a simple image from AWS official documentation. So if you observe, we have a user here is trying to access some S3 hosted static data or HTTP server, right? So now when this guy is trying to access, what happened? If we are not using this edge location, what happened? The request need to flow over the internet and it need to come to this origin server. Then it is going to give respond back. But whenever we have this edge location, the request first will come to edge location. It will check whatever the data this guy is trying to access. If data is already available here, the request serves from this edge location itself. It even won't go to this origin. But if data is not available, then immediately the request went to actual origin. While giving reply, this edge location is going to cache that, then it is going to deliver. Now, from the same or nearby any geographical location, if any other guy is trying to access, the request comes to edge location and edge location is going to respond. Right. So even you can do one thing. So how CDN works, you can refer some of the images here. If you observe this image, here is the origin server. So the actual data, either it may be some static data or some videos or some media files or some HTTP web page, right? So instead of delivering this page for all the customers, what we are doing, we are offloading some the most frequently accessed data to this edge server. Whenever this guy is trying to access, the request no need to come to this origin server. It can be simply delivered via this edge server. If you're taking just India, we have edge locations almost all the famous cities, we have one in Chennai, one is in Bangalore, one is in Hyderabad, New Delhi, Kolkata, Mumbai. So so where not only that, wherever the end customer is there, doesn't matter, right? So we can deliver all our content with very low or minimal latency. Okay, so now let's jump in and let's configure this. So um, I'm going to first configure a load balancer. Then I'll try to deliver the load balancer content over this CloudFront distribution. Also, we have an option to add S3 bucket also as an origin. Okay, so first I already have an EC2 instance. It is delivering a simple web page. So I'll quickly create a load balancer. Right, so I'm going to CloudFront distribution target group, include as pending below, create target group. So now load balancer, create load balancer. So again, if this is the first time you are going through this load balancer creation, I recommend you to refer our previous videos. Right, so that's the reason I'm going a bit quick on this load balancer creation process. App ALB, internet facing. I'm going to select multiple subnets and I have a security group that is open with required port number. Whatever traffic coming on port number 80, I'm sending to the target group which I created. All right, now I have a load balancer. So if I share this load balancer with all my customers, what happened? I need to share this DNS name and I also need to map this domain name to, I also need to map this DNS name with my domain name and I can share that. But the problem is, if your customers, I'm in Mumbai region, I created this load balancer here in Mumbai region. So the nearby location users won't get any latency. But for example, you have some customers in different geographical location. So those guys, whenever they are trying to access, obviously they are going to face some delays. So to reduce the delays, we are going to use this CloudFront distribution on top of this load balancer. So this creation is going to take a minute or two. So meanwhile, let's go to CloudFront distribution. So go and search for CloudFront. Click on Create CloudFront distribution. Also, AWS is giving 1 TB of data transfer out always. And it's not only for 12 months, it's always going to be free. After 1 TB, the remaining, for every 10 TB per month, we are going to get charged 0.085 per GB. And for STDP and STDPS request also, we are going to get charged. And how many times this CloudFront function is invocation happened, for that also we are going to get charged. And also, this CloudFront has an inbuilt feature. So this CloudFront help us to protect our resources from DDoS attacks. Okay, so distributed denial of service, right? So now click on Create CloudFront distribution. Under this origin domain, I'm going to choose the load balancer I created. Scroll down, select the load balancer we have, and protocol, I'm going with HTTP protocol, port number 80. So then origin path, if you want to give, you can give that to, append to origin domain for origin requests. So there's a name you can give. And here, do you want to, whatever the cache we are storing in the edge location, that caching behavior. Do you want to compress object automatically? If your answer is yes, you set to yes. And whenever end customer is using STTP protocol, you are okay to use, and you want to redirect that automatically to HTTPS, then you select that. If you want to use only HTTPS, you select this option. I prefer to go with this redirect HTTP to HTTPS. And what are all the HTTP methods you want to allow via this CloudFront? So get and head is okay. So just read operations, no updation, no deletion via edge locations. You want to restrict viewer access. So now all users, they need to use CloudFront signed URLs only. Right, for that, you can set it to no or yes, right? So let's go with the default option. So now what is the caching behavior? So here we have some caching policies. Once whatever the data this guy is accessing, right? So the data is going to store here in this edge location. But how many hours it is going to store? Right? How many days it is going to store? Or can we configure any expiration for this? For example, the maximum you can set up 365 days expiration period, 365 days as the TTL value for the cached data. Right. So that means once this guy is accessing, once data is cached here from origin, whatever request it is delivering, if it is caching data here, for coming 365 days, it won't delete here. Even after the data modified here in actual origin, still for this guy or nearby guys, this edge location outdated data only will deliver. So to overcome that issue, right, we can configure TTL values. So the TTL values we can set up here. We have cache policy. So caching policy and origin request policies is a recommended method to use. We have legacy cache settings, but nowadays nobody is using this. Cache policy and origin request policy. Click on this create cache policy. It will take you to the policy creation. But if you observe these existing policies, caching optimized, if you select this caching optimized, default TTL value is 86,400 seconds. That means 1 day. Once object is cached into this edge location, for coming 24 hours, all the requests will be delivered from the edge location only. So after 24 hours, the file will expire, right? So then again, new request will go to origin. So we can adjust these values. Minimum TTL is 1 second, maximum TTL is 3153600. That means 365 days. And also this cache settings like, gzip is enable, broadly is enable here, right? So that is caching option. If you don't want to enable caching, you can select this caching disable. You see this default TTL all 0, maximum TTL 0. It will deliver via CloudFront distribution, but it always get data from origin, right? So I'm going with this caching optimized. So once data is cached, for coming 24 hours, the data will deliver from that edge location only. So then we have another option like, whenever any request is coming. So based on the viewer request, you want to invoke any CloudFront function or lambda at the rate you edge. So you give this lambda function ARN, right? So basically we can customize based on end customer request. We can run our customized caching behavior and we can deliver. So it's purely optional option. So this WAF, this is additional security for our CloudFront distribution. So if you enable this security protection, so now what happened, AWS is going to create web application firewall. There is a service called WAF and Shield. So if you go to this WAF, okay, so we can create web application firewalls here. So what traffic need to allow? Create WACL. Once you give a name, it will ask you, okay, do you want to filter the traffic before it is reaching to this CloudFront distribution? So then what is a CloudFront distribution? You click and you add the resources. So that thing, this thing is going to happen automatically. I'm going to select do not enable security protections. We are good. It's for demo purpose. So this WAF will cost us. Okay, so now what are all the locations you want to use to cache the data? So use all edge locations. This is for best performance. Use only Northern America and Europe, or use North America, Europe, Asia, Middle East, and Africa. You can use that. So I'm going with use all edge locations that gives best performance. Now, see, whenever you create this CloudFront distribution, we are going to get this CloudFront distribution URL that looks like, some random ID .cloudfront.net. So obviously the random ID is a bit difficult to remember. So if you already have a domain name, you can map the domain name here. Again, if you don't know about this DNS service, so we have a playlist, right? We have around 7 or 8 videos on DNS Route 53. So please refer that. I already have a domain name. I'm giving the domain name. I also have an SSL certificate. So I'm using ACM service SSL certificate. I'm using that here. So then security policy, I'm going with the recommended one. So then supported HTTP, going with HTTP version 2, and standard login. If you want to enable logging, you choose an S3 bucket. Okay. So then you want to give any description, IPv6, I'm going with all these default options. So then create distribution. So now CloudFront distribution creation started. As I told you, this is a domain name we got. So random id.cloudfront.net. So as I told you, obviously this is a bit difficult to remember. So I'm going to uh, add a record along with alias record in our route 53. But before that, let's verify one thing, this load balancer output. My load balancer created. Currently, this is what my load balancer output. You see, it is taking too long time to load this image and all. Okay, so now this load balancer I have added on top of this CloudFront distribution, right? So let's observe, right? So meanwhile, this is status is deploying. Meanwhile, I'll go and map my domain name to this CloudFront distribution. For that, go to Route 53, whatever hosted zone you have, go inside that hosted zone. And here we need to create a record. I already have some previous one. So create record. A record type is A. I'm going to enable alias route traffic to CloudFront distribution. Whatever distribution we have, you select the distribution, routing policy, simple routing policy is okay. Then create record. So now if you wait for a minute or two, right? So if you're trying to access this learn aws.co.in, so the request now first come to this CloudFront. CloudFront is having a origin. That origin is load balancer. Load balancer has a target group. The target group contain an instance. So this is a flow. All right. So this is still deploying. So this CloudFront also has a couple of options like features like based on end customer geographical location, we can either whitelist or blocklist. For example, this CloudFront distribution should work only for India origin users. So click on edit. Right. So we have allow list or block list. So you can allow specific countries. I want to allow only India, then I can select India, then I can save changes. So, or you want to block for India, so then remaining all countries you are okay to deliver this. So then you can block list this. All right. So again, once the distribution created, we can test this. Right, so it's still deploying, but I think we can get the output. Let me give a try. I tried multiple times, okay? I'm giving learn aws.co.in here, and you see, I'm giving quick refreshes. All data is loading pretty quickly. So not taking that much time. Right, whenever you're giving some hard refresh and all, right? So may take little delays, but generally, so this content is delivering via nearby edge location. Okay, so yeah, this is what it's already deployed and we are able to access this. Now I want to configure this geographic restrictions. Configure, click on edit. Okay, so I'm going to block list India just to show the output. I'm selecting India under block list, save changes. So now, if you go here, if you're trying to access this CloudFront distribution, again, some requests may deliver, but now if you observe, Amazon CloudFront distribution is configured to block access from your country, right? So the geographical restriction we applied, it is taking effect. Again, if you want to set no restrictions, you go here, you set no restrictions. So this is one option. And another option is invalidation. If you want to invalidate the cached data, in simple, this all edge locations are storing this frequently accessed data, right? So if you want to clear all the data, so then click on create invalidation. Here you gave slash if you want to invalidate any specific file. For example, you have an image like alb.png. You gave that image uh, name, only that specific content or object is going to invalidated, deleted. If you want to delete everything, you can use this wildcard option. Slash star, click on create invalidation. So now all the data we have in all the edge locations, it's going to be deleted. It's going to be invalidated. Now, whenever any new request is coming, again it go to origin and it is going to case the data again. Also, for monitoring purpose, if you want to verify, you go to CloudFront. In left pane, we have this case statistics. You go here, how much objects are caching, how much what are the popular objects delivering, what are the top references, what is the usage, and what is the viewer countries, from what country, right? These guys are accessing. So it definitely takes some time to get the report, but we can get the report here and also we can configure alarms, right? In this CloudFront distribution, right, whatever the data bytes downloaded, if greater than or equal to for within 5 minutes and you want to notify some SNS topic, you can configure that alarms also. So this is what CloudFront distribution for our load balancer. Okay, I'll make next video right, to deliver your S3 content. That is going to be a bit quicker one. So thanks for watching this video, guys.